This episode is brought to you by Beneful. Mornings are when the grind starts. Stretches, immaculate. Cardio, crushed it. Territory, marked. Sorry, geraniums. The dog routine is on point, but it can get a little wolf. That's why I fuel up with high-protein Beneful freshly prepared meals. I'm eating clean with real meat and veggies, served fresh from the pantry. Kick boring in the bowl with Beneful freshly prepared meals. Visit Purina.com/Beneful to shop now.
I'm Jessica, and this is Daebak K-Rambles, where a couple of friends review Korean dramas, and we are back for a throwback review of the K-drama Queen In-hyun's Man, aka Queen and I, because it has two different names. But for this episode, I am so excited to welcome back Grace and Sarah from the Afternoona Asks Podcast. How are you guys doing?
Good, thank you. Good to be back.
Thank you for having us.
I'm really thrilled that you guys chose this drama. I was afraid it would be like the redheaded stepsister and wouldn't get picked. Nobody would want to touch this drama and do it this season. But because I would have just like not covered it, then I just wouldn't have covered it. But you guys were so thrilled that this was on the docket, and you guys both were like, please let us review this one. And I can't wait to share this experience with you guys and chat it over. I rewatched this show, and I think you guys watched it for the first time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that we're all full of thoughts at this moment in time. Before we get started, what have you guys been watching? Maybe just give me one thing that you want to recommend to people that you have been watching lately.
LinkedIn is pretty amazing at helping you grow your small business. We cannot make your email response time faster. We can help you sell, market, and hire in one place. We cannot help you find space for your 3 desk drinks. Why do you have 3? And while we can't help you find the perfect volume for your presentation video, LinkedIn can help you find the perfect audience for your business. Grow your small business on LinkedIn. Learn more at linkedin.com/smallbusiness.
Okay, I can go first. I literally just wrapped Idle Eye, which is a 12-episode law/mystery romance drama starring Soo-young from Girls' Generation, so Chae Soo-young, and the male lead is Kim Jae-young. And he plays an idol, very believably, and she plays a secret fangirl, so it's a bit her private life. Like in her day life, she's like this lawyer, she's kick-ass, and she's really steely and keeps her emotions in check. And then she gets home and she gets into furry slippers, and then we see her room, and it's like an idol-like room of Kim Jae-young's pictures of him in his group called Gold Boys. He gets accused of murder, and she becomes
As one does.
And she becomes his lawyer. And actually, I was pleasantly surprised by how good this drama is. I think anybody who loves K-pop will find it interesting because it does touch on topics around mental health, around idols not being able to be themselves, up from obsessive fans like the Sangs and the impact they have on idols, and people breaking into their apartment and controlling CEOs, and all of those kind of themes. There are some niggles about how it handles that towards the end, but overall it's good. The two of them have great chemistry. The mystery's pretty well done. So, yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed this drama. It was good.
Very nice. Yeah, it's on my list of watches to finish for 2026 already. There's a list going.
Yes.
Already.
Because you're slow like me, right?
We're simpatico in that. We have no rush. We're on our own timetable, and we'll get to it when we get to it. Right, Grace? Grace,
Totally.
What have you been watching lately?
So the only drama I've watched so far this year is Residence Playbook. I was playing catch up from last year. I always meant to get back to it, and I really enjoyed it, actually. I actually had low expectations because people didn't seem to like it as much as, Hospital Playlist or Prison Playbook or, the Reply series. But, it was good. I had fun at the movies. I mean, wait, what's... It's not the movies, but it's like a thing. I had fun watching it.
Oh, I love to hear it. All right. Resident Playbook or Residence Playbook?
Resident Playbook.
Okay, singular.
Yeah.
Okay.
Singular, even though it's an ensemble, there's 4 residents. So, in any event.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that director and writer duo, I believe,
Mhm.
worked together on all of those famous slice of life series, like the Reply series and the Prison Playbook and all of the hospital playlists.
They're not
season
strictly
1 and 2.
like, so they're credited
Mhm.
as the like originators or creators, but they're not the people that actually wrote and directed. it.
Okay.
And I think you can tell.
Okay, so they
Ah.
kind of Spielberged it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just not as quite as, because they are pretty amazing at what they do,
Mhm.
and I think you can tell that it's just not quite there.
Oh.
I think
Yeah.
it's still
Well,
fun.
I mean,
It's still fun. But I mean, they're just
Yeah.
such, like, for me anyway, the Hospital Playlist, Prison Playbook, the Reply series is like, is top tier. And this is really good. It's just not top tier. It's just that difference. For me anyway.
Did you know that it wasn't them going into watching it,
No.
or did you look that up later?
I looked it up like a third of the way through and I was like, I'm not really feeling
Ah.
this. And then
You looked under the hood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I feel like my expectations were sufficiently lowered that I didn't feel any like,
Oh.
I was just like, oh, okay. No,
The bar
I
was
enjoy
lower.
this.
You're meant.
the
I
bar-
see.
Yeah, because I had heard, oh, it was fine. It was good, not as good. And so like I was like, okay, don't expect too much. And so I went in there thinking, oh, it's just going to be okay, and then so I totally enjoyed it. Yeah.
All right. Well, 2 recs from Sarah and Grace. We have Idle Eye and Resident Playbook. If you guys want to give those a watch.
Resident Playbook is on Netflix.
And Idle Eye is also on Netflix and on Viki.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Great. So before we get into our review, if this is your first time listening, thank you so much for pressing play. Go ahead and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and many more. And if you like us, please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Come and check us out on social media to stay up to date on the latest episodes and reviews, shenanigans, everything that I do. You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at Daebak Pod, DAEBAKPOD. And lastly, if you're a fan, please consider becoming a patron. It is such a great way for you to get involved and show your support and get extra content. You can check out the page on patreon.com/daebakpod. And shout out to my patrons: Curtis, Bale, Alana, Lorna, Sammy, Julian #1, Caitlin, Tanmei, Marta, Delphia, Maria, Sarah, Pam, Julia #2, Nadira, Matthew, Lauda, Christine, and Kate B. Thank you guys for being such great supporters of Daebak and myself. All right, so let's get started on this Queen and I / Queen and Hyun's Man review. We'll do non-spoiler and spoiler section. I'll kick us off with the synopsis, which reads: Kim Pong-do is a scholar who had supported the reinstatement of Queen In-hyun when Jang Hee-bin's schemes resulted in the queen being deposed and replaced as queen consort. He travels 300 years into the future of modern Seoul and meets Tae Hee-jin, a no-name actress who is expecting a career renaissance through her role as Queen In-hyun in a TV drama. That is the My Drama List synopsis, which I feel like we need to go a little more high level because this is an older drama and I feel like that was a little bit much. The Wikipedia synopsis reads: the story centers around obscure actress Jae Hee-jin in her first leading role, who falls in love with Kim Bong-do, a time-traveling scholar from the Joseon period, 1392 to 1910. That's the entirety of the Joseon period. He jumps 300 years into the future to the 21st century. This drama, as I said at the top, aired in 2012 from April to June 2012. Let's go back to the year 2012. Instagram was only 2 years old, and this was the year that Android users finally got it. It was available in for them to download finally because it was only an Apple user app. The top 5 highest grossing movies of the year, according to Box Office Mojo, is #1, The Avengers. Of course, The Avengers, the first one. #2 is The Dark Knight Rises. Then The Hunger Games, the first Hunger Games movie.
Wow.
Then Skyfall, which is arguably the best Daniel Craig James Bond movie. Then Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 2. I don't know if you guys were in the theater for any of these movies, but I vividly remember being in the theater for all of these movies and watching Breaking Dawn Part 2 after being a Twilight book fan for so long and growing up with that series. Oh my God. I've never seen such electrifying third act in my life because of the change that they made. Do you guys remember this?
I did read Twilight. I got very annoyed by Breaking Dawn, so I didn't check out I watched
That's fine.
the first 2 movies and then I checked out.
Okay. No, I was like a 12-year-old when the first book came out.
Yeah.
And so I was in over my head. I was deep into this. I was following all the forums when they had started casting people.
Oh.
And I remember Stephanie Meyer's website and how she had a fan casting of people that she had, actors that she had in her head as she was writing the books. Everyone was like, Henry Cavill's going to be, he's going to be Edward. Henry Cavill. Anyway, I was there on the ground floor of that. And Breaking Dawn Part 2 seared into my memory. If you know, you know. 2012 is the year Whitney Houston and Donna Summer died. I was like, oh, damn, that feels like yesterday. Hits like Carly Rae Jepsen's Call Me Maybe were on the radio.
Oh my gosh, Call Me Maybe.
Gautier is somebody that I used to know. Fun's We Are Young. And Psy's Gangnam Style was the first video to reach 1 billion views on YouTube in this year. I mean, it was a year.
It was a year. We had London 2012 Olympics.
Yes, the Olympics, which I remember vividly watching the opening ceremonies and the Spice Girls coming out. Listen, this was the era, this was the time for this drama to drop. It is 16 episodes long and directed by Kim Pyong-soo. He's directed since the mid-2000s, Vampire Prosecutor. He's done other time travel, like 9 times time travel, which is it's breaking my brain just to say it. I don't know if you guys have had to say that show, but say that 3 times fast. He's also directed Three Musketeers, Bubblegum, The Bride of Habeck, which I have to credit for the entirety of Daebak at all because I started the Daebak review blog because I was so pissed after watching The Bride of Habeck in 2017 that I had to create a whole blog just to bitch about that show because I was so mad. I was like, this is the worst show. How can they let this air? So Bride of Habeck, he directed. A Korean Odyssey he's directed, which is a Hong sisters drama. That one, also controversial. They got beat to death with plagiarism allegations because it's not a Korean Odyssey. It's based on the Chinese folklore. And I mean, what a time. He is psychometric, and Rookie Cops was the last thing that he did. Have you seen this director's work before?
No. From that list, no.
Okay.
Yeah, me neither. None of them.
Okay. Queen In-hyun's Man was written by 2 screenwriters. Song Jae-jung is the first one listed, and she has been writing since the 90s. Like 1998 was the first credit that I see here. She has worked with this director a couple of times, including The Three Musketeers and 9 times time travel. I have to say that slow so that I don't stumble over it, but
it's a tongue twister.
It's a tongue twister. This writer has also written W2 Worlds Apart, which we've covered on the podcast, and then Memories of the Alhambra, which is such a cool premise. I remember watching that first episode like I was yesterday and being like, this is amazing. It blew me away. The way that show ended, I don't want to talk about it, but like it went the way of Bride of Habeck. She also wrote Yumi Cells, all of the seasons of Yumi Cells. The co-writer is Kim Yoon-ju. They have written Yumi Cells most recently, and they worked with the director and the co-writer before on 9 times time travel.
Well done, Jess. You're doing great.
Have you seen any of these works from these writers before?
For me, just Yumi Cells. But I mean, that alone is, I love Yumi Cells. And I'm very much looking forward to season 3.
Awesome.
Yes, same. Although I did watch the first episode of Memories of the Alhambra, and I was like, this hurts my head a little bit. Maybe I'll get back to it. And then I never got back to it.
It's going to give you a headache by the end. If the first episode was...
I was like, this is a little too complicated right now, and too many things are happening, and I'm not in the mood. And I just never got back to it.
Don't.
Thank you.
All I can say is you're not going to be happy if you continue watching that and the mental gymnastics that one made you do. Yeah. Anyway, Hyun-bin looks hot in that, so there's that.
Yes.
Queen In-hyun's man stars Hyun-woo. He plays Kim Bong-doo. He's the male lead, and this was the last drama before his military enlistment. He has done 7 movies and 22 TV shows. He's been acting for like 20 years. I have seen him in Becoming a Billionaire, and that's it. I definitely wanted to press play on First Lady, which came out last year. That was the one where a politician gets elected to, I think, be president, and he serves his wife divorce papers on the day that he wins the election. And I was like, this sounds like Makjang heaven. I can't wait to press play on this, and I never did. He is the guy that serves his wife divorce papers, I believe. He has, if you look through his filmography, he does a lot of those long family dramas and 50-plus episode dramas, 40 episodes here and there. And that's his bag. But he has been working consistently for the past 20 years. Have you seen this guy before?
Me? No.
Me neither. And I was like, oh wow, he must have been one of those people who like was hot, 15 years ago and then just like dropped off. And then I looked at his filmography and I was like, oh my gosh,
he's working.
He's working consistently, and I just missed all of this. But now that I know that some of these things are the 50 episode plus kind of family things, I'm like a little bit more interested because it's been a while since I've watched one of those, and I have that itch. So I may get into one of these afterwards.
Yeah, the ones on this list that I have italicized and put a star in front of I looked up each one of the dramas that he's in. And I was like, oh, I totally want to press play on these. So those are the ones that I'm like, this sounds pretty good. Young Lady and a Gentleman is the most recent one that after First Lady, of course, from last year, 2025, that I would like to watch. Young Lady and a Gentleman. Bad Thief, Good Thief looks good. Wanted from 2016. 1,000 Kisses, which is, I think, a Nuna romance. Those ones, they got a little something. There's some sauce in there that I'd like to check out. So this is our first time seeing Hyun-woo. Yeah, he's just not a traffic star anymore. Yeah. And he's older.
I thought he was quite attractive in this drama. So I was like, how have I not seen him in anything else?
I am so glad you said something, because I was like, am I going crazy? But like, he's still seducing me all these years later.
It is quite a seductive character.
Oh my God.
He's a great role. It's a great male lead role.
Yes. I think actors these days would kill for a role like this.
Same.
Like, period. It's so like juicy. His co-star is Yoo In-na, and she plays Tae Hee-jin. She's the female lead. And she is a lot more recognizable, I think, than he is, at least by today's international audience standards. She's done 5 movies, 18 TV shows. We've covered a lot of her dramas on the Daebak feed. There's reviews up for Snowdrop. She's in Snowdrop. She's in, of course, Guardian, the Lonely and Great God, aka Goblin, from 2016. We also covered My Love from the Star, which is a hysterical rewatch if you want to go back and listen to that review. All of these are up. She's also been in You Are the Best, which I remember that show, watching that show, and I also remember dropping that show.
Oh, yeah, I dropped that show too.
It was
oh my gosh.
long. It was so long.
50
And the mothers. The mothers were the worst.
The worst.
The worst mothers ever.
Oh my God. I was like, I'm over it. I can't do this.
I know.
So, You're the Best. I also dropped The Greatest Love. She's in that show. And don't ask me why. I literally just didn't, I don't know, I didn't vibe with it, so I dropped it. But I see The Greatest Love on a lot of best of lists, even to this day.
Really?
And I'm like, oh God, did I tap out too early? I don't know. I don't know. I've also watched Secret Garden. She's in Secret Garden. Have you guys seen that classic, 2010? Hyun-bin popping up again in the combo.
Hyun-bin being a little toxic.
Yeah,
right?
I remember. Every time I see Secret Garden comments, it's always kind of commented afterwards that like it's of its time. It was, it's
totally,
which is code for like it's really quite toxic right now. So. But we watched it because that was just fine back then. So have never fancied, and he didn't look great in that shell suit. So none of it.
I was looking.
None of it made me want to like check it out. You know me in like older dramas. I don't. I mean, this is like my oldest drama I've watched in a really long time.
Oh my God. I'm just going to cover these two
Yeah,
actors. And there's really not much else in the way of a cast. There's really 4 people listed as main cast members, and we covered 2 of them. It's the male lead and the female lead. I think that's all we need to do.
I love Yoo In-na. So we covered Touch Your Heart as a deep dive on our pod, and I actually also really enjoyed her in. So her last drama that she led in was True to Love, which was a bit patchy, but it also has one of the most realistic portrayals of a breakup. Yeah, and she's amazing. Like she's so good at the comedy, so good at the comedy, but also she's really great at the angst. And I think that, like her best roles are the ones which showcase both of those. If she's not crying in a drama, I'm like, that was wasted, guys. You you need to get her crying. Yeah.
I didn't watch True to Love from 2023, but I'm glad you could comment on it. And of course, Touch Your Heart, which I don't like office romances, and I'm not the biggest fan of Lee Dong-wook. I respect the man. I appreciate the man, but I'm never seeking out Lee Dong-wook dramas.
He's good. Well, this is like dorky Lee Dong-wook, and I like dorky. We haven't had dorky Lee Dong-wook for a while. So there's no blood. There's no, I'm really cool. He's very dorky. He's very dorky in this role, but adorably dorky.
Yeah, so I've kind of like bobbed and weaved out of the way of Touch Your Heart for many years now, because that's from 2019. Yeah. Again, I have gone through all of her dramas. I'm like, what am I missing? And the ones that I have italicized and starred, I'm like, wait a minute. I think I need to watch this. So The Spies Who Loved Me looked pretty good. And The Secret Hotel from 2014 looked pretty good to me. But I'm glad that you guys are fans of Yoo In-na. I think the last time we covered her, I vaguely remember saying put some respect on her name, because most people don't know how trafficked and amazing she was, especially now, like in the 2010s era.
Yeah.
You mentioned that this is the oldest drama that you've seen in a while.
Yeah.
So talk to me about the experience of watching Queen In-hyun's Man. Did you like it? We'll start there with you, Sarah.
Okay, cool. So I find it's the production values that kind of bring me out. I'm one of these people, like conversely, I can be really wowed by dramas that look really good and are edited really well. And I'm like 6 episodes in and then think, this is actually not that good a drama. But I haven't really noticed because I'm sucked into the... So the opposite happens to me for older dramas. But with this one, it's just so good from the get-go, I think. And the pacing is really good. So I don't have a lot of time to be, oh my God, look at that outfit. Or, oh my God, like that clunky. They really liked splitting the screen up in this drama to the point it kind of gave me a headache. But the director of photography or whoever's responsible for deciding when the screen splits and how they split was having a very experimental and fun time with this drama. Like we had like really crazy shots from very weird angles, like aerial shots or people like, coming from the other side of the door. And, I was like, I kind of appreciate, so my mind did wander a little bit, but not a lot. Most of the time I was in the drama, in the story and with the leads. And so, I kind of got used to it after a while.
Yes, I will jump in and say the cinematography on this is interesting. I think at the time it was seen as really good.
Yeah.
Now it hasn't aged so well. And the moving and sliding split screens is a choice. And it's very comic booky in places. The last time that I saw this done in earnest, serious as a heart attack, was 2003's The Hulk. Have you seen that movie with Eric Bana?
Yes.
They do that in that movie, and it cracks me up. It is so funny to rewatch that movie and be like, what are they doing? That's how it kind of felt to watch Queen and I. And I have no recollection of them doing all of this stuff, with the screens. But I thought it was endearing at the end of the day. I was like, this, you don't get this every day. It's fine.
Yeah.
Grace, what did you think about Queen and I / Queen In-hyun's Man?
Okay, so at first, the first episode, I was like, oh my gosh, this feels so old. There's like this really dramatic music. There's like this news like a news anchor expositional voiceover at the very beginning, which is super duper old. And then like the vibe and cinematography really reminded me of some of the older dramas like Big or Cunning Single Lady. But then that all fell away. Well, actually, I think they never did the news anchor exposition, voice again, the entire show. And I feel like as they moved along, it felt a little bit more current. And it wasn't just that I was drawn into the story and so I was ignoring the older vibe stuff. So like really very quickly by the second episode, I thought, oh, this is a lot of fun and I like the story and it's funny and it's interesting. And I really enjoyed this drama. Like I really, really liked it. Basically all the way through, I thought the pacing was wonderful. I don't recall there being like okay, this part's slow. They really could have, dropped 1 or 2 episodes. I never felt that. So I really had a good time with this one.
Yeah. One thing I thought was quite funny that struck me was whenever they shot what was then modern day Seoul, I just thought it was really funny because it's a time travel drama, right? So he time travels from Chosun to modern day Seoul, and then you have these shots of like what Seoul looked like from Gwanghwamun Gate, and you're like, oh my god, it's so odd, like that's what Seoul used to look like. So I was like, this juxtaposition of like, this is meant to be a time travel drama, but where they time travel to looks like history for me. Like I'm like checking out like, oh, that's what cars used to look like in 2012. Like, oh right.
Mm-hmm. I totally understand. It's not contemporary enough to still pass muster for being like so impressive.
Yes,
you're like
it was so different. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I freaking love this show. And I knew that I loved it from jump, right? I loved it back when I first watched it, around when it aired. And coming back to it, I was so worried. You have no idea how worried I was that I wasn't going to like it. And then I made you guys watch a shitty show. Because I don't know, like, I mean, 2012, I was a different person.
Yeah, so true.
I was going to see Twilight movies in earnest. I was like, I was different, right? So how can I expect that my taste in dramas is the same all 15 years that I've been watching dramas? Yeah. So I was genuinely so worried that this wasn't going to work out. And after episode 1, I was like, bitch, we are back. Yeah. Like, I love this show. It is so well paced, like you both said. There's no slumps in this. Just when you think they've gotten over a hurdle, another one appears, but you still get that satisfying bit of they're together, they're having good times. And then,
they're so sweet and cute.
So cute, so sweet. The kissing, amazing. In this show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it truly hit all the highs for me. It was playful, it was funny, and mischievous. The leads acted so well. They had wonderful chemistry. And then also there were deeper moments in the show as well where they're dealing with the grief of like losing the other and coming back to each other as well. These emotions that run through the show are so well handled. Yes. I think it's those moments of deepness in the show as well as beautiful lightheartedness. They balance these tones incredibly well with a deft hand. Yes. And that's the lifeblood of the show. Yeah. And I think that's the lifeblood of K-dramas that I miss when I'm dropping K-dramas. I'm like, they didn't hit on it, right? They didn't tap into that vein. Yeah. But this one does. Yeah. And it made me miss a well-paced 16-episode K-drama. You know what I'm saying? Like, this thing is moving.
Yeah,
it is.
Totally.
I think that's why it stood the test of time. I completely get your apprehension on how you might... And sometimes you think, like, I'm not going to rewatch a drama I feel like this way about Goblin, actually. I feel like I never want to rewatch it because I want to stay with where I was and who I was when I watched that really early in my K-drama career. And I kind of don't want to find it and then pick holes at it and then like lose my love for it. I want it just like set in ice. So I totally get your anxiety with it, but I think this drama just completely holds up because of everything you just spoke about. And I, contend that if they did a remake of it now, it would still just work just as well because it's all the core elements and they you were saying, it is a small cast because they really just center on that main couple. There's no extraneous there's chosen court stuff going on, but there's no serial killing, there's no amnesia plots, there's no terminal illness. It's they're not relying on all this kind of external stuff. They're just but they've got this time travel thing. They do it really innovatively. They kept me guessing the whole way through, how they were going to handle it, because that's always the thing with time travel. It's how are you going to resolve it? Where are you going to end up? Who's going to be in whose timeline? Are they even going to be in each other's timeline? And that's what keeps you guessing. And I think this drama did it so well.
I agree. Yeah. Grace, did you have anything to add before I go off on time travel stuff?
No, I completely agree with both of you on that. I think that we had an extended conversation, Sarah and I think we had a guest when we did Touch Your Heart, or it was our third host, but this was one of our big anxieties because we each remembered having really, really enjoyed Touch Your Heart. And then we were coming back to it 5 years later. And we were like, oh my God, is it going to be bad now? And then we all loved it more the second time around.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
That's best case scenario.
Best case.
Yeah. So totally get that. And I agree. They did such a good job with this show. So really, it feels timeless. In a way.
In a lot of ways it feels timeless because the story is so well done, the writing is so tight. And one thing that I'll talk about before we get into the time travel aspect of the show is that I noticed people were talking on the phone so much in this show. A lot of conversations between characters are not happening face to face, they're happening over the phone. And that's where you get all these crazy split screens from all 50 different angles and you're like, what, for what? But anyway, you can see how cheap it was to make this show. In a lot of ways, this show is a relic of the time in which K-dramas were being written almost simultaneously as they were being aired. And it's a lot of the same sets, the same hospital room every time someone's being hospitalized. There's nothing expensive about these locations. They're not going to Canada, for instance. I know we brought up Goblin. They didn't go to Canada for this to shoot anything, right? This is the time in K-dramas where you really had to double down on your concept, on your characters and the writing. And that's what people are going to stick around for. It's not because it's flashy. It's not because the budget is super expensive and they've dumped all of the CGI in it and it looks incredible. And it's all of this glitz and glamour. I said this before on the podcast. I'm really forgiving if the budget is lower because if the story is there, you're not going to notice. In the best case scenario, just like this show, you're not going to mind.
Yeah.
Totally.
We talked a little bit about the time travel. The time travel in the show is so tight and simple. That's not the case all the time for time travel shows. They really get into the weeds on time travel. I've said this before as well. The best time travel is simple. Simple rules. And if they break them, something happens. And then they're they're picking at this thing until something else happens and they have to figure it out. And that's exactly what they do in this show. I would like to throw this out there. Feel free to disagree. This show is in the top 5 time travel K-dramas.
I think so.
I agree.
I think so too.
Okay.
Yeah. It broke into my top 5 time travel K-dramas. Yeah.
Do you care to share? If you have your top 5, please feel free to share. What are some great time travel K-dramas for people who maybe are not willing to dip back into the archives and watch Queen and I on, for me, it was Tubi.
Yeah, Tubi.
I watched it on Tubi.
Me too. I had a VPN to the States Tubi, which was fun.
Yeah. Which I love Tubi, by the way.
Yeah.
Tubi sponsor me. Yeah. But for those people who might want some other recs and they want to hear the best, what are some of your top 5s?
Okay, so my top are Go Back Couple, Twinkling Watermelon, Mr. Queen, Queen In-hyun's Man, Splash Splash Love, and Lovely Runner. And I do not know how to rank at least. So I know Go Back Couple is my top. And probably Twinkling Watermelon is second, but the next 4 might be tied.
I got you. They're not ranked.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love Splash Splash Love with so much passion, and I am also scared to revisit it. It's only 2 episodes, but it's up there. Don't ask me.
I've still not
it's
seen
amazing.
it, even though it's only 2
Absolutely.
episodes. It's one of those things.
Yeah,
Like,
it's great.
I don't know why I don't pick it up. Like, and those times when I'm like, oh, I don't know what to watch. I need to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely watch Splash Splash Love. And then you mentioned Go Back Couple. We've covered Go Back Couple on the podcast. There's a full review for Go Back Couple, and that one was very good. Remember really liking that show as well. Sarah, would you care to share your
Yeah, so
top five?
I share some with Grace, unsurprisingly. So I've got, again, unranked, Mr. Queen, Twinkling Watermelon, 18 again. And I also count Still 17, even though it's not technically a time travel. It has those elements to it because she is in a coma at 17 and wakes when she's 30. Yeah, and then so probably my fifth favorite, which has probably now been usurped by Queen and I, was Signal. I thought that they used time travel in a really clever way. And obviously it's not a romance, so yeah, that was a great,
Was
a
it
great time travel K-drama.
Time travel? I watched it so recently that I'm like, I didn't like enter it into my rankings at all. But is it time travel or is it speaking through time?
So it's a time slip, and I think it's all kind of relatively in the same family.
Okay.
Versus someone like is getting picked up and Back to the Future
Right.
in a different time.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Like that's traditional time travel if we're splitting hairs here. But yeah.
Yeah. But it is a time slip. You're right.
Because they're just communicating.
Yeah.
From, yeah. I love Signal.
love
Signal
Signal
has its own
too.
podcast review as well. Signal's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple other ones that I have on because I pulled up some time travel list, has nothing. This wasn't prepared in advance for this review. It's just I happen to have a list of time travel on my phone, time travel K-dramas. So I have Tomorrow with You on there. I have One More Time, which I don't know if you've seen that. It's like an 8-episode Netflix drama from back in 2019-ish era. One of the first Netflix originals that popped up. That's not a time travel. That's a time loop drama.
Oh.
Like Groundhog's
Yes.
Day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just like Groundhog Day. Signals on here. Splash Splash Love. Queen In-hyun's Man. Perfect Marriage Revenge is on here. The Atypical Family is on
we love
here.
that one.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then I have a couple of oldies on here, which leads me to my next point, which is there were a metric ton of time travel dramas between 2010 and 2015 specifically. Queen In-hyun's Man is one of them. So was Rooftop Prince, which came out in 2012. The Chosun Crown Prince and his entourage wind up in present-day Seoul while trying to solve the mystery of his wife's death. Really funny show. If you liked all of the shenanigans of fish out of water scenarios, present day versus I'm from the Chosun era, I don't know what's going on, I talk funny, that is Rooftop Prince, just like Queen In-hyun's Man. So you'll
Nice.
like that one as well. Faith is also from 2012. The alternate name is The Great Doctor, and that one just landed on Netflix recently, and I was caught up because I was like, oh my god, I have not thought of this drama in all these years, and Lee Min-ho is on my screen right now in period dress. The synopsis for that one is a Koryo warrior brought to modern times grabs a doctor, a female doctor, and brings her back in time with him to heal
cool.
somebody of importance. Yeah, so that's Lee Min-ho being the warrior from back in the day. That's 3 right there. Operation Proposal is also from 2012. That's he tries to fix the wrongs that he did in a relationship and re-experience his past choices. So it's almost like a Groundhog Day, but it's more like butterfly effect. He keeps going back in time and like hopes that the future is better, and like it never fixes the situation. I have to tell you, I dropped that one because he went back in time one too many times for me, and it was just I was like over the gag at that point. So that's Operation Proposal. The last time you guys were here, it was for a review of I'm Not a Robot. The male lead from I'm Not a Robot is the lead in Operation Proposal.
Oh.
Yes. So we're still in the year 2012. That's all those dramas. 4 dramas. And then the next year, we already talked about this one. I'm going to say it one more time. 9 Times Time Travel came out in 2013 by the same director and writers. An anchor man uses mysterious incense to go back 20 years to try to save family and change his fate. So that's the synopsis of that drama.
Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't seen that.
I think you need to watch it just for like to
It's
reward
tormenting.
yourself for like
Yeah,
saying this
I know.
title.
And then I have here Marry Him If You Dare from 2013. This is one of the worst dramas I've ever seen. But a woman's future self travels back to prevent her past self from marrying the wrong person and chase her dreams. Ooh. And then, of course, Splash Splash Love, which we just talked about from 2015. A high school student suddenly journeys to the Chosun dynasty and falls for the king in this cute, compact time slip drama. I can't say enough good things about Splash Splash Love. Anyway, I don't know if you guys had thoughts about the fact that time travel was so prevalent and sort of is still prevalent in K-dramas. It is almost like a genre or subgenre into its own.
I don't have any deep thoughts on it. I just love it as a subgenre. Because I think I really enjoy the idea of revisiting things that you would like to change. You know, I feel like everyone has those, pivotal moments, pivotal cringe moments in their life where it's like all of a sudden it comes snowballing back to you and you're in that moment again and you're like, I wish I didn't do that time, this awkward, terrible thing that I did, or, very uncomfortable situation. And so I always really enjoy the thought that like, oh, we could go back and fix it, I'm not sure why it was such a big thing back in the day. I think it's really hilarious that the same writer-director team had 2 time travel dramas in the same year.
Yeah.
Back to back. Yeah, back to back. I mean, maybe that's when it like really started taking off. I don't know what happened before then, but it was like they've now discovered this thing, and so they're going to do a whole lot of it. And then over the years, people still play with this because it's such an interesting concept. I feel like playing with time, like playing with, the idea of like changing history or fixing mistakes or being unable to do those things despite having the ability to travel in time or whatever. I just think, it's always going to be interesting because our lives are linear and finite. And so, yeah, so it's always interesting, I feel like.
I feel like it's a trope that kind of obviously was really popular, and I feel like K-dramas, you could probably chart peaks and troughs of like particular tropes, that were like fashionable, and like I feel like we had a lot of terminal illness in 2025. This is not something we need to revisit, I think. But time travel is like obviously really popular during those dramas that you just highlighted in the 2012 and 2013. But it keeps kind of coming back because it does really work. And I think that there are so many different dramas that do it and use it in a different way. And that we as an audience as well, like we're used to seeing it now. So I think you also need less explainers, like if it's a time loop or if it's a time slip or it's true time travel, you kind of on board, and then it's like a vessel is like a wristwatch or it's like a charm or whatever. You're like, it's very quick for your audience to get on board with it, and you don't need to over explain stuff because it's such a common trope. I think for me, I like the second chance romance option for time travel. Like I that's partly why I really love 18 Again. I love the thought of someone kind of drifting through a relationship and suddenly thinking like, well, where did it all go wrong? What happened to us? And, maybe I regret doing this and maybe I regret doing that. Like, what would it feel like if I could start over again with my partner? And yeah.
I have to say, for my part, I really enjoy star-crossed lovers, and you cannot get more star-crossed than you're not in the same time period.
Yeah.
So true.
What if your soulmate, what if your fated mate is in a different time period, right? What if your soulmate's in the past? Yeah. What if your soulmate's in the future? I love that concept. I think it works nearly every time for me. It's always the execution that kind of like bogs it down and messes up whether it's on pitch for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, I really like the concept and the premise of time travel. And as I said before, the simpler you keep it, the better. If you get into like, what's one that I was like, you did too much, this is confusing. It's The King Eternal Monarch, which did time travel and parallel worlds. And I was like, yo.
I loved it though.
A lot of questions versus answers on that one.
Yeah. It's very like Marvel multiverse type of situation.
And I got to tell you, I am the biggest MCU hater. And I've seen all those multiverse movies. I've seen the Loki series and all that stuff.
Did my head in.
Exactly. It does your head in. I don't like the multiverse. The only multiverse movie that I'm like, this was amazing was Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's the only one that I left the theater and I was like on a high. I was like, yes, they nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was good.
Mine was A Time Called You, which is obviously the Korean remake of Someday or One Day. That one just was like that. It just took me out. I just got so annoyed with what they were doing, and I got very confused.
I think we all go into shows with a level of I have to suspend my disbelief. If it goes too far into this is crazy, like they've doubled down, they've doubled back. Why is this happening? I thought they couldn't do this. And what is happening?
Right.
All of that, if it compounds, I hate it personally. Some people just get through it and they're like, that was amazing. I love that love story. And I applaud them for it. But anyway, long story short, time travel is still big. I don't think it's going anywhere. Queen In-hyun's Man did pretty well for its time slot because I looked up the time slot and I was like, what were they thinking? This aired at 11 p.m.
Whoa.
Wow.
Super late. The ratings of 1.2, 1.6, 1.4% for these episodes, with the finale peaking at like 2.1, that's good for that time slot because most people are in bed by 11 o'clock and they're not watching television. You're not going to see double-digit ratings for a show that's airing at 11 p.m.
Sarah and I were like, even though I like went to bed at 2 a.m. last night and she did worse.
I also put 3. I was up till 3.
This was airing on regular cable.
Yeah.
And if you didn't catch it, you didn't catch it.
Yeah.
I have a fun fact to share.
Please.
So I think we've all mentioned it, that the main leads have great chemistry. So after the show, I kind of just did a little bit of Googling. Turns out they dated.
Yeah.
So, and he confessed his love during a press conference, was it? I was just like, this is so cool. I did not know this. And it kind of like, I wish I had in a way, because I was like, also all those liquidy eyes that he had, they were like for real.
Oh, for real.
They were for real. Maybe that's what caught my... I was really like, these guys, they're just so good. You know, they've really got such good chemistry. I feel like she's got great chemistry with Heather, who she acts. I think she's a bit of a chemistry queen. But he was really smitten. And I was like, I really feel like how smitten you are.
Liquid eyes is such a great way of putting it, too. Speaking of liquid, I have notes here about the food because... Now, this might be taking us in a different direction, but I had someone comment on a TikTok, and I don't know when this was. I don't know who it was, but they commented and said, K-dramas nowadays are just a vehicle to promote traditional Korean food and diet. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I genuinely had never gave two thoughts about what kind of food is shown on K-dramas and if there's been a change, you know? But watching this show, I was like, wait, they may be onto something because there was no Korean food at all in this show. All the food they were eating was Western food. They go to an Italian restaurant. You know, the managers for these Hallyu stars in the show are eating table service bread. Pasta, the manager in the show, the BFF / manager, is eating cereal for breakfast. And I'm like, cereal? Whoa. And then the female lead has the male lead pick up curry.
Yes. Kare.
Kare.
C-A-R-R-E.
And then they have more Italian food later in the show, spaghetti and meatballs and mushroom fettuccine alfredo, which he does not like. He did take to the spaghetti and meatballs that she was having. And it was at that point that I was like, we need to bring up the food in K-dramas. Do you have any thoughts about this?
We actually did an episode on food. Actually, we did a two-part. We ended up speaking about it so much. And I remember similarly, so I think the oldest drama I've watched previously to this was Master Son, which I know that you watched too, Jess. And I noticed it in that. They ate a lot of Japanese food. And then I suddenly thought, I don't think I've ever seen a contemporary K-drama where they're slurping udon and eating a lot of very solidly Japanese food. Like, they'll have sashimi, but obviously Koreans eat sashimi. So that's the closest I see. But no, I absolutely think that part of K-dramas now is selling the whole K culture, and food is definitely part. I mean, Idle Eye, they did not stop eating Korean fried chicken. So it's definitely not traditional Korean food that they're trying to highlight. It's just Korean food. Yeah.
Right.
Non-stop chicken eating. I was so hungry like at the end. It completely worked.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
And the shots of the food are like beautiful.
Yes.
You know, they're like
Instagram worthy.
Exactly. They're taking care in presenting it in an appetizing way.
It wasn't
unlike
curry
this,
from a
you know,
microwave.
Exactly.
Like I'm saying, it's so cheap because they don't need a food stylist. They don't need anybody to come here and babysit this food and make sure that the shot looks good. Let alone, nothing I think was sponsored as far as the food in this show.
There was no
that I can recall.
There was no Subway, you know.
So it was just like blessedly simple. And, you know, the food wasn't the thing of it at all. But if you stop to think, you are kind of assaulted with the Korean food when that wasn't the case just a few years ago, you know? We have to mention the fashion because this was 2012.
Oh, the fashion. Brilliant.
Listen, the chunky early 2010s heels, the block heels, I was a victim of this. I had these kind of heels and I was wearing these heels. I don't know if you guys ever had this style of heel before, but it was a vibe. It was of a time. The scarves with the casual t-shirts, I totally was wearing scarves. Listen, I've lived in Florida my whole life. What need have I of scarves? This was for aesthetics, okay? I was wearing scarves in this era. Yeah.
I thought his beanies were so NSYNC. That's what it just gave me boy band and double denim as well. So I kept going like I was like, this is boy band era. This is like that era of boy band. For Yoo In-na, it was colored tights. I was like, colored tights must have been big in Korea in 2012. I don't think they were ever big in London. I'm not sure that colored tights ever caught on here, but yeah, obviously colored tights were a big thing.
Colored denim as well was big. I had like bright red denim pants that I was wearing out. So a lot of things to ponder when it comes to the fashion on this show. What was the most 2012 thing about this show?
That's a good question.
I think it has to be the phones. Honestly, like that, you know, because the phone technology has changed so much over, you know, the course of the last 25 years or so. And so, like, I imagine that was the hot phone, you know, that year. Because I feel like the phones, they showed them enough where, like, maybe that was an ad.
Yeah,
and
true.
Same with the Audi cars.
Yes, yeah. The Audi cars are definitely, Yeah, I thought particularly with the phone, it was basically that we had lots and lots of shots where she is ringing him. And there's a shot of her like in shadow silhouette. That was the look, I guess, back then of Samsung phones. Like when your profile pic comes up, it like you look like a criminal. Like it's like that headshot.
Yes.
I was like, that's interesting. I think because phones are just, like you said, Grace, they've just moved on so much, so it dates. So for me, definitely that and the fashion was the thing that really, felt 2012.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to do our ratings and then I get into the spoiler section. What would you give this drama out of 5 Soju bottles?
I would probably give it like 4.5 or like 4.75. I mean, it's very close to perfect. It's very close to perfect. Yeah. In my book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the same as Grace. I'm going to take a 0.5 soju bottle, like half a soju bottle, just to see you through the night. So 4.5 for me too.
Oh my God. 4.5s across the board because I just have like tiny, if I have anything, it's like the tiniest little quibble, but like it's so good. I really had a great time revisiting this show. And if you want to watch it, it's on Tubi. So watch it on Tubi.
On US TV. US TV.
US, in the US. Yes, absolutely. We're going to get into the spoiler section right after this.
Excuse me, 뭐라고?
괜찮아.
You know, I have no 친구. Oh, sorry.
Swear, disgusting shit.
What?
All right, we're on the other side of spoilers, so we are going to tell you exactly what happens in Queen In-hyun's Man and why we love it so much. I think, Sarah, you wanted to talk about the time travel and maybe some of the mechanics that really worked for us and the choices that they made that made this show really stand out and break our top 5 time travel K-dramas lists. Where would you like to start? I think there's one technicality on this that I wrote down, but that's it. It was very easy.
Yeah.
Easy to understand because he's dealing with a charm that he got from a friend who picked it up from the chief monk at a temple. Mm-hmm. Do you want to pick it up from there, Sarah?
And then I think what I really liked was that he could control the mechanism. So I think he's a very smart male lead, is our hero. So he figures out that he time travels at exactly the time when he's at threat of dying, which is a very novel and unique and makes for super dramatic, like, zop, he's gone. And then people are like, my God, where's he disappeared to? And then suddenly, he's by this like faux English phone box. And
right.
And I really like that. And then at the other end, he can choose when he leaves modern Seoul. Like he can choose when he disappears. So there's again dramatic moments when he's like locked in a shower that he decides, okay, now's my time to leave. And I quite like that because I think a lot of time travel is kind of, it's outside the person's control. And they don't have such a neat way of doing it. And so I just thought that was super clever of the drama. And then once we got used to it, then they throw another spanner in the works, right? With the charm. Because then you're just like, oh my God, what's happened to the charm? Because then they slice it in half. And that causes a whole timeline change, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, that was really smart. When the charm gets damaged, it gets sliced. Everybody in her timeline in present day forgets. It sort of like resets as if he was never there, but she remembers.
Yes.
Yeah. She still remembers him. And it's frustrating because they think she's a mental case because she remembers this man and nobody around her remembers. It's very, it almost feels like gaslighting, but it's not gaslighting because nobody
genuinely doesn't remember. Yeah.
Yeah, that's legit. Like nobody remembers. He didn't exist there. And then in his timeline, he forgets, but everybody else remembers that there was something that he was going to another place.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Right. And meeting someone, and there was a mysterious woman that he was talking about. And I love that flip that they do in the show. Yeah. I thought that was super smart. So they do that for the charm at first. And then you kind of get a little more info about the charm, and the monk's like, you really can't control like how this thing is going to behave. Yeah. You think you have control over it, but you don't. Yeah. And I love that aspect because they introduce that very early on when he's chatting with the monk. Yeah. There's a danger associated with using this charm. You don't know how things are going to turn out.
Right.
And I love that they throw that in there.
Yeah, totally. But then you forget that there's that danger until something weird happens. And I like that they like just sprinkle it in like a little bit here, a little bit there. And then towards the end, there's a little bit more. But like, it's not like a constant like, oh no, what's going to happen next? It lulls you into this false sense of security in between each of the times when it does something weird, And so you're like happily grinning away at them being cute and lovey-dovey. And then you have like no idea. You're like, okay, there's 2 episodes left. I wonder what's going to happen. And then you're like, oh my God.
Oh shit.
What do they do now?
Right. Because it was twofold. The girl that gave him the charm, which was a servant of his late wife's, because he had a whole life in Joseon that like we don't even get into, but his wife died. And this servant is down bad for him and wants him to be protected throughout all of this political upheaval. She gets him this charm. She dies and the charm acts up. Also, the original monk who made it for her to give to him also died. So when this happens, it sets off this chain reaction. He cannot return to the present day. And you're like, how the hell are we going to? And I love how they reveal it. That like first she dies and he's, fighting the last villain of this Lord Minam.
Yeah.
His it's familiar face, by the way. That actor's like in so many things.
In Moogie.
So that the remnant of that guy's crew, that assassin, he offs him and it's this great one-on-one fight. And you're like, oh my God. So that villain dies and unfortunately that girl dies. And then he has to figure out how to get back. So he's trying on this mission to find the monk.
Yeah.
And then you find out the monk died, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, that's why there were 2 shades of black. Like it was like mostly black when Yoon died, and then it turned all the way black. And that must have happened when, you know, the monk died. And you're like, amazing.
It's like the magic is gone.
I know.
How can he get back to her? It's so devastating.
Yeah.
And I have to say that the mechanism for Bongto's time hopping is that he has to just like utter a few words, an incantation, and come back to the past.
Mm-hmm.
But when he goes to her, it's this life or death situation. He's basically killing himself to get back to her. And it's a true sacrifice. Like, it's a sacrifice to go to the present because he does have to trust this charm and trust that this thing is going to work every time.
Yeah.
And he's not actually going to die and perish. It is high stakes in that respect. And I respect those mechanics heavily. And it means so much when he goes to visit her because he's killing himself to do it.
Putting himself in those dangerous situations.
Yeah.
And I think the most crucial one was, I was similar to Grace in that I was lulled into this false sense of security because I thought that the last battle was like, he's shot with 3 arrows, right? Really well done. They were like,
oh, yes.
Shot with 3 arrows. And then he's taken away by his servant and put near the charm, like just in the nick of time for him to time travel, luckily directly to a hospital, and he's safe. And then you're like, oh, okay, he's made it. He's chosen to sacrifice himself. He's double crossed, you know, the villain. He's got the king on his side. He's left his like life behind. He's chosen to go. Like, it's all good.
Yeah, he fakes his death.
And I'm like, great. We get like 2 episodes of fluffy stuff. I'm like, great.
Right.
I was like thinking, there was a little bit of me that was like, 2 episodes is a lot. Like, but maybe because it's a 16 episode drama, we're gonna get like, you know, maybe it's gonna be like, what's that drama that was just like full of fluff? The Secretary Park Seo-joon and
what's wrong with Secretary Kim?
So I thought it was going to be like what's wrong with Secretary Kim, which is just basically full of fluff and then more fluff and then 2 episodes of final fluff. So I was thinking maybe like older dramas, like they give us more fluff, and then like bam, he's just about to reach her, and then.
I love it. I love how they built up everything. You know, like you're talking about the 3 arrows thing. That's in episode 14 where he gets shot with 3 arrows while he's on trial against Lord Minam, and he produces a copycat charm in this whole thing. And he's like, "You didn't think I would really give him a real charm?"
That was amazing.
I'm like, oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. And you can like they do the quick flashback to him telling the king the truth, and he's like, yeah, I really am going back in time. This charm is real. It's magical. How do we get out of this? Because I want you to kill me, and this is how you're going to get back the legitimacy and the political power that you need from this other faction. And it just like works out so well. But he has to take 3 arrows to the chest, and you're like, oh shit, he could die. The mysterious ICU patient with the 3 arrows.
I know. You know what?
Like disappears, and I'm like, oh my god, he made it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I feel like a huge part of what made this drama good was just how smart he was and how quick he was. Like, because you know that ICU, like he was like, okay, he like planned it with his servant. He's like, come to this spot. Bring my corpse. This spot. Because he was like, okay, this is where the ICU entrance is. And so like when I'm about to die, these people can bring me back. It's just like, wow. Like you just like
it's such a smart gamble.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It's so good. I thought there was a visual in that episode where he's going back after he's healed up. He had gone back to the past, and then he's coming back to the future, and this is the final time he expects never to come back again. He stabs his sword through the top of the hat. I was like, this is hard. This visual is so hard to me. It looks so good. It's so sexy. It's such a symbolic, I'm never coming back here. We're done with the past. We're done with the Hanbok. We're done with everything. And then in this episode, he goes through, and the emotional journey of these characters is so great because he does go through this moment when he's finally with her, and if you think everyone thinks, the audience thinks, this is it. We're going to get 2 episodes of fluff, like you said. He tells her, since I don't have a place to go back to, I feel like I've been orphaned.
Yes.
And then he tells her, I love you for the first time. So he's still like going through these crazy emotions of like, I have to leave everything that I've known, the world that I know, the status that I had, the money that I had, the servants that were loyal to me, everything behind. But I want you. I want to be here with you and I love you. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
it's so good. I thought it was so powerful.
Yeah.
And the emotions were valid. And I loved that journey that they go through.
Totally.
We talked about the kisses being so good in this show.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a favorite kiss in this show?
I did. I think for me, it was a really, I mean, I have watched a lot of K-drama kisses by this point. And actually, it's really interesting to note that these kiss scenes are pretty steamy. Right? This is how little social progression we've had. Like 2012 kisses look almost steamier than some 2026 kisses that we have. But anyway, the one that was really unique to me was the kiss where we have a shot of her toes and then she stands on his feet. And I really, because they have a lovely K-drama height difference, right? Because she's so dinky and he's like so nice and tall. And so when they're kissing, it's like she wants to just get closer to him. So she stands on his feet. I was like, oh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
I agree. That's a really strong kiss. I think that's in episode 11. He finally comes back and he remembers her. This is post charm slice or whatever. And this was like their whole reunion episode where he like is there at the premiere of this event thing. I don't even know. And he's there on the red carpet and she spots him. Mind you, nobody in this world in the present day knows who he is at all. They think he's just a phantasm of her mind. And he's there and they end up back at like an Airbnb situation. He's so smart, bro, because he like guilts her into staying. She was initially gonna leave. She was like, I got you this Airbnb, you could stay here. And anyway, I'm going back home. And he was like, how can you bear to leave me alone here at this house? And I don't know anybody. He guilts her so dirty. And she's like, oh, okay, fine. So they kiss. And he's got impeccable kissing form, by the way, because he's got like his hand on like the side of her cheek. And I think there's a line in here. She says, I thought my passionate temperament was the problem, because she's been like kissing him this whole time, just initiating these kisses. And he doesn't know any better. He's thinking like, oh, is this how you guys say hello and goodbye and stuff in the present day? And she's like, absolutely. Like she's all over him. She tells him this because he's like, you're so forward. You're so passionate or whatever. And he says, I forgot to tell you something, how attractive that temperament is. And she has been calling him player this whole show. Yeah. And she goes, player. She calls him player one more time. He's like, I totally admit that I am playing you. And that's when she steps on his feet to get at him better for this kiss. They have an incredible height difference. So if that's your thing, watch the show. And they like sway together in this kissing dance. It's again super steamy. Like the quality of kissing in the show cannot be understated. I love that kiss as well. Grace, did you have a favorite kiss scene?
Yeah, well, I love that. Obviously, I love that one as well. But I thought their kissing got even better throughout, like because it's started out a little bit with the fish-eyed, oh, I'm surprised type of thing, and then as the show progressed, their kissing got steamier and like more intimate. It was like there were the steamy hot kisses, and then there were the like, oh, I just love being around you, I'm just gonna like nibble all over you and like get up in there. And then I really loved when he was like, what are neckties for? Oh. And she was like, oh, I thought of what neckties are for. And then she's like, well, a wife, it's a thing that, sometimes wives will put on their husband's neckties for them in the morning. And then when you're like holding the necktie like this, you kind of, and looking up at your lover's face, you just like, it's romantic. So then and then they kiss and she's all giggly and stuff. But I really thought that was very cute. And I loved his reaction. Like, I feel like you're teaching me things about, quote unquote, the modern world, but all of these things are things that you're making up so that you can kiss me. And I love that.
Yeah, like he clocks everything that she's doing very quickly. She doesn't have the jump on him the whole show. Like, he's
Right.
not totally ignorant. Like you said, Sarah, he's very, very competent. He's extremely intelligent. There's moments where he's like figuring out what the clock is, like, every 5 minutes, you know, and then this whole thing represents 12 hours. And I was like, I would never, like, even a child can't figure out what a clock.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that is impressive. He's so smart.
Yeah.
I love that he learns how to drive for her and buys her a car at one point, and
Haggles over a sword twice. Yeah.
yes,
Right.
yeah, he sells his family heirloom sword that they got from the founder of Joseon, and like he sells it the first time, buys her a car, and as he's telling her, "Oh, I bought you this car," and they're chatting, he goes, "I think they scammed me out of money." And then he sells it a second time because, like I said, they reset the timeline basically with the slicing of the charm. And he comes back with the sword again. And he's like, this time we can buy a house. We can buy, you know,
Yeah.
all this stuff. Cell phone. Set me up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That first time that he sold it and got the car, and he was like, I don't know that this car is worth my heirloom sword. I mean, it was pretty valuable even back in my day.
Yeah.
And then she's like, well, let me show you something else that you can do with a car. And she's like, get into the car. And they start making out in there. And he was like,
Yes.
I love that his reaction was like, I see. Oh yeah, this is totally worth the price of my sword.
Bro, like we're all blushing so hard. Like
I know.
these scenes are cheese-tastic and I'm lapping it up.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Very good.
Amazingly cheesy and wonderful.
And they call themselves out on it, right? Because she says at some point she really likes cheesy things like that. And he's like, what's cheesy? So he's like,
Yeah.
he goes and asks like the best friend / manager, like, what does cheesy mean? Like, how can I be cheesy? And like, I also love, I mean, you know, time travel is always fun when it's fish out of water. And I do think that they do a really great job of deliberately giving her very modern dialogue. So she doesn't in any way try to make her language a bit anachronistic so that he'd understand. She's like, I'm going to use like every modern day jargon that I'm gonna, like I've been using, and I'm not going to dumb it down for you. And you're just going to have to figure out what all these words mean. So that's like a lot of the fun of time travel dramas, I think, when he's trying to say, what is this and how does that work? So that was really good. Totally. I like that.
I think my favorite kiss is the library kiss, but the second one that happens because he trespasses again at the library after they part ways the first time. Her and her manager go back to scrub the CCTV footage because she's an up-and-coming star. She can't have some kind of scandal come out with this rando in the library, her kissing him and stuff. And he's still there. She goes to leave after meeting up with him again in the stacks. And he kisses her. Like, he is learning very fast, as we said, through this whole show.
Yeah.
And he has to know at this point that this is not how people say hello and goodbye. He goes around the stack as she's walking out and, like, grabs her and kisses her. And I'm like, I think that's the first time she calls him player because he's
got the moves.
So charming. Yeah. Absolutely.
And I love that, actually, that they made him experienced, right? So at no point you're thinking, like, this is some chosen virgin who suddenly knows what he's doing. It's no, it's like he's been married before, so let us tell you this, you know. And
do you know, when I was watching this second time, I thought for sure that the wife that died was her, that she was maybe like a reincarnation of his wife, right. Which I feel like if they wrote it today, that would be an angle that they would take for sure, because they never show the pregnant wife's face at all in any flashbacks. And I was like, oh, they're totally going to take, and who knows if that's something that the writers contemplated, and because, you know, they were having such success with what they were doing already, they were like, I don't think we need to sub that in and go down that route of he's into her because that's his wife in the present day. But yeah, that thought did cross my mind that they would do that. There was a coffee shop scene where he wipes cappuccino foam off of her lips. This is a thing that was in older K-dramas. There was always some sort of food or something stuck to her face. They would either kiss it off or take it off with their hands. Either way, super intimate. They were obsessed with this trick in the early aughts and 2010s. Were there any points in the show that really surprised you?
Well, you know, because of the way the show started, I kept thinking it was going to circle back. So even though there's ups and downs throughout the whole show, I was like, this is going to be a happily ever after. I'm sure it's going to end on the very first scene. Because the very first scene.
Yes, I agree.
Because they throw you into it and you're like, what is this? And then it feels like they're going back and explaining it. And then they're working their way through to that. So I kept like looking forward to that scene. And I'm actually ultimately really glad that they didn't end it on that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because it kind of didn't fit. It didn't fit with the story in the end. And I loved the way they reunited at the end, but we'll talk about that later. And so that was a surprise for me. I kept thinking this scene is going to show up later on in this show, and it just never did.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, that was we talked about King Eternal Monarch. This is a very King Eternal Monarch moment where he basically pops out of the past on this road in front of the palace. He's on a horse in Hamburg in the middle of the street, and she's pulled over her car, and she steps out of the car like super emotional and just obviously glad to see him. And then he's looking kind of like dapper up on the horse, and we never get that scene played out in real time. And it's not that I miss it, but like they could have wrapped it up. They could have done it.
Yeah, they
just didn't feel the need to. Yeah, they could have. They didn't.
I think the surprises were when the charm broke, everything reset, but kind of didn't reset. And then again, at the end.
It reset in interesting ways so that, there was always someone suffering, basically.
There was.
It's always someone that has the memory of their relationship.
Yeah.
And that person is suffering because they can't get back to the other.
Yeah. But I loved that he, in the end, he chose that suffering for himself. He was like, I hope that you forget so that you can live your life. But like right now, my memories of you are all I have left. And I want to keep those.
That's a man. There's a couple of things that I want to chat about, but we'll skip to the end in like a second. The two technicality things that I thought were interesting about the time travel was that they don't show him actively sort of trying to commit suicide every time he goes back to her, which I thought was smart.
Yes.
Because then he just kind of shows up and you're like, hey, they're back together. He made it. And it's never, unless it was he was being chased down, there were assassins, some sort of attempt on his life, legitimate attempt on his life, then they showed that. But as far as like he comes back and forth like a bunch of times and it's just on his timing whenever he wants. They don't show him like sitting there like about to slit his throat or fall on the sword, whatever it is. I thought that was smart. But he chops his hair off in this show very early on. He has like the Bieber haircut, which I was like, yes, absolutely, of the time. It looks really good on this man. Whenever he went back in time, he had the top knot. He had his little bun. And I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? And they actually explained it.
Yeah.
The servant, the manservant was like, you can't tell anyone that you cut your hair and don't tell anyone that this headpiece is real. Like he basically has some sort of wig or sew-in or something that's on his head.
Yeah.
That the servant gave him or required for him, and he wears that every time he goes back to the past.
It got me thinking about, what did men who were balding do back in Joseon? And this was probably it.
That's such a good point.
That's kind of hard to fabricate. Oh my God, you chopped off your hair. Like, let's make this from scratch. So they must have had them like at the marketplace.
It must have been mass produced in a sense.
Yeah.
Some slaves just like literally just glowing their hair for fake top knots. Yeah.
The Chosun
right.
toupee.
Yeah, exactly. But there's one point where he doesn't seem phased. He's talking to the manservant. This is the same conversation, and he doesn't seem phased that he cut off all of his hair. And I thought, ooh, this might be different if this was made today, and they would lean more heavily into the Confucian aspect of the hair and keeping it long back in the day. Versus he seems like he's already adopted modern day thinking about it, and he's like, whatever, I chopped my hair. But I feel like that was an opportunity. They don't handhold you in this show at all. which I really appreciate. They just give you, it's not for us, right? Like it's for the Koreans. And that's the thing that I love about watching older K-dramas is that there's really not a lot of explanation for why would people be phased in the Chosun era that he chopped off all his hair. You just kind of have to understand inherently the big deal that it is.
Right.
Yeah.
The second technicality that I was going to bring up is that in one of the early episodes, 1 or 2, he brings his horse through the time travel, as well as an assassin from the Chosun era follows him. I mean, he kills him in front of her, which causes her to freak out and pass out from the shock of the entire thing, of this time traveler coming out of nowhere and killing someone in front of her. But then the assassin sort of disintegrates in front of her as well. And I was like, is it because the charm is not for him? And then that was the only thing that I thought was funky.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
I figured he disintegrated because his body is now in the present day and it's 300 years old, so his corpse would have decomposed.
Yes.
Okay.
Which also begs the question, when our male lead dies, does that mean his corpse is going to disintegrate because he's not from that era and suddenly the physics of a 300-year corpse is going to take hold of his body? Or like, I have questions about this weird technicality that they introduced.
What it's reminded me, because actually I remember thinking in that scene, so you can bring someone over with you.
Right.
And then I thought, this is another one of those, I thought this was going to happen in the plot. At some point, his maid, who has now become how do you say it, Grace?
Kiseng?
Kiseng. Yeah.
says, wouldn't it be amazing? I would love to live in a world where it was possible to be myself, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And I thought that was foreshadowing how at some point in the future she was going to time travel with him, and then she'd be able to live in modern Seoul and live her life that she was wanted to live, instead of be, just playing the chin like really, really sadly.
Yeah.
And so then when it turned out that she was dead, I was like, is she dead? Because she's supposed to go back to modern Seoul. That was what I had. Because she was so sad. She was so in love with him, like just so in love with him. And she was his, she was really standing by him. She was so loyal to him. And I thought that was going to be her gift for all of that loyalty and giving him the charm, was that she was going to get to live her own life. And then it didn't happen.
I know.
That's a really good point. I think it crossed my mind that someone would travel back and forth with him. It didn't cross my mind that Hyun-woo would, but yeah, that makes a lot of sense that like they threw that little singer in there, that she wanted that world. She craved that world.
Yeah.
And she never got it. She died.
Yeah. Because when he lost his memories of Heejin after the thing got sliced.
This charm slice, yeah.
Yeah, the charm slice. He offered to take her as his concubine.
Yeah.
And she was like, no. And I was like, what do you mean no? This is your opportunity, girl.
Yeah, I forgot that bit. Yeah.
That's right. She did say no.
Yeah, but she said, no, I would rather go and live in that other world that you told me about. And so I also, Sarah, was waiting for this to happen. And then as the drama continued, I started thinking, I forgot about the whole horse assassin thing at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And I started thinking, maybe he can't take anyone. He can't take anyone. That doesn't work because it's not for them. Because that was after they described, the charm only works for him.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so once they explained that, I was like, I guess he can't take anyone. And so I kind of gave up hope in that. But I definitely had a few episodes where I was thinking, yes, she's going to get to move to modern day Seoul.
I agree. And then I also thought maybe, and this was my original, like when I was originally watching the show in 2012, 2013, whatever, I thought the female lead was going to go back in time at some point in the show, and it never happened. Yeah, so this little technicality about the assassin making it through whatever portal opens up for this man when he disappears, it just didn't manifest in any way in the show. They just kind of leave it be. And that's the best way to do it, I guess, is to like not overcomplicate it and try and like fix it. They're just like, anyway,
even if there are a few plot holes, we'll just move on.
Right.
Yeah.
It's very like,
Yeah.
okay, and we're moving on because it really doesn't serve any larger function in the story. It could have, as we said, like he could have taken Hyun-woo to the present. They could have maybe had her go back in time, or maybe Lord Min-nam could have like ended up in the present day. Like something could have come through that had more sway over the plot, but nothing really did.
And I think that was good.
Yes, I think that was good. How annoying was the BFF/manager?
Oh, there was a lot of shrieking. I feel like there's always a character that's a lot of shrieking in older K-dramas. I actually kind of liked her character in that I think you needed to have someone that was constantly questioning her and looking out for her and pointing out that she's a celebrity and she can't behave this way. And I think it created that conflict and that tension because, as we've said already, this is a really tight cast. So I think she did really good on role and she got used to block them at certain points and stuff. But yeah, I just needed her to be like a notch down volume wise and just be, I mean, because she's at the same time presented as this character as being like, I'm the manager, I'm the sensible one, I'm thinking things through. But she was also like hysterical a lot. So I was like, choose which one you want to be.
Choose a lane. Yeah, I found her so insufferable for most of the show, especially when you're the audience and you're rooting for these two, the male lead and the female lead, to be together, and she's constantly cock-blocking them, especially after the slice of the charm, and he's trying desperately to get back to her after he remembers what's gone on.
Yeah.
And like he meets with the BFF and the BFF's not putting them together. She's actively telling her to avoid phone calls from him. Like it's, oh my God, cannot be more annoying. But that's her function. That she was written that way. So it's just, but it's so
And
annoying.
in some ways, it's also her character's job.
Yes.
And so I actually didn't get too annoyed with her because they did that in little chunks here and there. They didn't like do it in an extended way where I got really frustrated. And so I ended up not being that annoyed with her. And I did think that the recurring gag of her interrogating him and being like, what school do you go to?
That was fun.
How much money do you have? What about your family?
Exactly. Oh, Bukchun.
Exactly the same.
Yeah, Sungkyunkwan.
Funny enough, he says he went to Sungkyunkwan University. That actor did go to Sungkyunkwan.
Yes.
Oh, really? He actually went there?
Yeah.
He went there.
Yeah.
Did he live in Bukchon too?
Well, Sungkyunkwan is like just like northeast of Bukchon. So maybe he did live in Bukchon.
Oh my God. I have a scene here that I really liked, and it was in episode 11 when the ex-boyfriend comes over and he's being really handsy with her, and he is avoiding the breakup that he knows is coming because she's never been the same after she woke up from this coma. She got in a car accident when the charm slice happened, and ever since then she's not been the same.
Yeah.
And you get this water bottle scene of the male lead like spraying this guy in the face. It's so great. And he's like, oh, you have a leak in this house. It's so funny. And he accuses her of basically two-timing when she finally gets the words out and says, like, we need to break up.
Yeah.
The male lead finally says, I'll be responsible for you. And he's looking at her so tenderly. And this weird loft situation is in this
mezzanine level, apartment.
house.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a very, like, this would never exist in real life.
It was built for a 2012 K-drama.
Exactly. It was built for a 2012 K-drama. So he's up where the bed is in this loft area, looking down on them, like fighting and trying to break up and whatever. I thought this scene reminded me of Romeo and Juliet, kind of, because she's like down below and looking up and he's looking down. And I don't know. It was very emotional and cute and stuff. Because up until this point, he had never said he was going to try and stay here in this timeline and be with her and take responsibility for her, even though they've been kissing every episode.
Saying goodbye, Jess. They were saying goodbye.
Yes, and hello.
Yes.
That's just what you do.
Oh, God. All right.
To be polite.
Yeah. Something else that I wanted to talk to you guys about was episode 12. It starts with, I think they have sex after that kiss that she's standing on his feet. So it's presumed that they have sex.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Presumed that they have sex. What did you guys think of this in a 2012 K-drama?
My first thought was, does he know what birth control is and like condoms?
That was your first thought. I love that's your first thought.
No, I was like, is this the direction that this show is going? It's like oops, I now have the child of
That is
300-year-old man.
funny. I mean, they could have gone with that. Like, I'm sure that they brought it up in their little writer's room, these two screenwriters, and they were like, well, should she be pregnant by the end of the show? Because they had sex this one time. And it's very iffy if they had any sort of birth control or condom situation.
Yeah.
Wow. I do like the gag that the next morning she sees a note by the bed and he's not there. And she can't read it because it's all in Chinese characters.
Yeah. That is funny. And actually all it says is something benign, right? Like,
yes, it's her dress.
Yeah. I was wondering, Sarah, actually, when she picks up that note, I was like, oh, I wonder if Sarah could read this.
Oh, I didn't try, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry, I've got really bad eyesight.
She struggles. Oh,
Yeah,
I
she does.
see, yeah. She struggles so much. She's like, okay, this one's my name. And everything else, I don't know. Maybe this is the number? You know? It's really cute.
All right, so let's talk about the last 2 episodes and then we'll get out of here.
Oh, Jess, sorry. I wanted to, before we get there, I wanted to talk about the angst in this drama because I think we
Talk about it.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
So it is, I mean, I think I've been on record before on saying this, like I really like my fluffy rom-coms, but I love them when they come with a back end of angst. And I think they do a lot of that. And I think part of the beauty of this construct that is when she loses him, when we have the charm slice and she resets, but then she kind of knows, it's like that goblin thing of like, I know that I had a great love at one point, but I can't really remember him.
Why am I so emotional?
Why am I so emotional?
Right
Why do I keep... Yeah, exactly. All of that stuff. But I really, really love every single time. She's the only one who really knows what's going on. She has no one else to confide in. Her best friend is bugging her the whole time, like saying like, who is this guy? Like, what's going on? Get a grip. You need to be in your drama. And she's just like, you know, I have a love and I can't tell anyone about him because everyone thinks I'm freaking nuts because he comes from Joseon like 300 years ago. But I really love him. And I'm just like,
saying it out loud.
This is just the best angst
It
ever.
is.
And Yoo In-na does, like, she just does, as I said, such good cry scenes. So
she does.
I really, really felt for her. And then flip side for him, when he has his 1 year without her, he pens that letter. Like, I always love a letter in a drama.
It. So
always.
Oh my God.
We'll get to it in the end, but like he has his like crying scene as well. And I'm just like, all of those scenes were the bits where my heart was like, I really like it when it feels like a bit broken, and then I can kind of hope that it'll be healed again.
Yeah.
It did it so well.
Yeah,
I agree.
They did. I mean, 300 years is a really good reason for angst and yearning. It's like we're separated by 3 centuries of time. We don't know if we'll ever see each other again. And they did it in such dramatic ways, especially toward the end. So, yeah.
Yeah. And then also I really like the trope of like she kept having to read the history and everyone was like, wow, you're such a dedicated actress that you keep researching the like Queen In-hyun's like history, and she's just like reading it going like, he died and like she's crying her eyes out and they all think that she's being really empathetic as an actress. I just like that whole running gag was just so, it was both funny and also we obviously felt really, really sad for her.
Do you know, you brought up a great point because she's starring in this 사극 within the show. She's acting as Queen In-hyun, and the script keeps changing every time he changes something in the past. Yeah. And that just goes to show that in the confines of the show, they are presenting a very real genre, which is the 사극 genre, and they are obsessed with accuracy.
Yeah.
Right? The script wouldn't change if they were doing some sort of riff off of history. They're doing a 1-for-1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought that was important to note. That was very standard for saguks for a very long time, is that they were historical fiction, but it was based on something real, something tangible. I love that she is constantly trying to catch up with him because he's moving very fast and changing things, big things. She's only finding out because of the show that she's in.
Yeah.
And it's a long show, long production.
Totally. And I love that it's always big enough that it would cause a script change. Because there's these conversations, you know, that the second male lead has with the director when he's mad at her, like, let's just kill off Queen In-hyun.
Yeah.
And the director's like, you can't just kill her off. This is like based on real history.
Right.
And then like the next episode, they're like, okay. And then so she dies. And then she gets mad because she thinks that the second male lead changed the script, but it's actually the history had changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cleverly done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. We covered a lot of what happens in these last 2 episodes already, but you talked about the love letter that he writes her and this beautiful scene of him just devastated and crying. And, you know, he's effectively never going to see her again, never going to get back to the present. And he's already lost everything that meant anything to him, you know, earlier in the show when he was wrapping things up in the past, in the Chosun era. And he writes this love letter. They've got this line in here. He says, a pointless life without even memories would be hell. He hopes that she forgets him if he burns the charm, destroys the charm. But he hopes that he remembers her. And it's so raw and so painful and so angsty. And he just looks so sad. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved everything about that.
Same. Yeah. I think also for me, like he is, you know, competency porn, right? He is a really great male lead. What I really love about him as well, like he's so calm.
Yeah.
And he's so, every obstacle, he's thinking it through. I love this actor's smile as well. Like he obviously, I love the thing where she's, I mean, Yoo In-na always does this really well, but she's kind of a bit scatty and a bit like crazy and zany and bright and sparkly. And he just loves all of that about her. So he's always looking at her quite indulgently and a bit like, you know, you are really cute kind of thing. But everything, the obstacle and thing that he comes up against, like, he, you know, everything he doesn't understand, obviously there's a lot of it. He just deals with it so calmly. And when he really breaks, I think then that even feels like more painful because you're like, suddenly this guy that was like, I can fix this, I can sort this, I've got a solution for this, suddenly he has to face up to the fact that he's run out of solutions and road now. The monk died and he just can't work out how to get back to her. Like he can't solve for it. And then, you know, the enemies for him are coming to get him as well. So he is slowly walking towards what he thinks is his final days as well. And we finally see him break. And that's really powerful.
Yeah, because he's had it together pretty much this whole time. He's been really good at controlling his emotions. And that moment when he breaks as he's writing this letter, he's like, I hope you find it and think it's written about somebody else. And like, it's so...
And then it's prophetic, isn't it? It's prophetic. They do it so well. They use this letter so well.
They use that because in the final episode, she gets called up to narrate this historical documentary called Queen In-hyun's Man. The name of the show in the show. And they found this letter amongst this official's belongings, and if they think it was written to Queen In-hyun, it's evidence that she had this affair, this man that was actually might have been in love with her, and all this stuff, right? Just like a show that maybe you'd watch today. That's you know, on the History Channel or whatever, this program that comes on. She forgot him completely, but he remembers, and that's just what he wished when he burned the charm. Oh my God. When she's filming at the palace and crying and she just doesn't know why she's crying, why she's so emotional.
I love that so much because it was like her body remembered him before her mind did. I love that when it's like that the single tear falls down your face and you're like, wait, what is this? What's going on? You know? And then she's like more and more overcome by this visceral emotion.
Yeah, like she's grieving something and she doesn't know what the hell she's grieving. I love how she's like, what the hell is going on? I love this reaction from her and she just can't get through it, can't work through it. And in the past, simultaneously, he has been captured. He's in prison. He still has those modern day clothes, the final outfit that he had when he left her. And he takes the necktie. He uses it to make a noose to commit suicide. And I was like, I'm going to gonna keel over. And as he is hanging from a beam, she finally gets a glimpse of the past that she's forgotten and remembers his phone number, dials the phone number. His phone lights up in the past. The call is connected. Oh,
Amazing.
Oh.
It's the new charm.
It's a phone.
The phone. She fully remembers him, and he comes down from the beam, doesn't finish dying, and he answers her call and gets transported back to the present day.
Amazing.
Oh,
I loved it.
two technicalities that it doesn't ruin it for me, but it's just like, okay, how the hell was that phone on for a year?
Same. That's
And
exactly
didn't-
what I thought. I'm like, this is a 2012 phone. I mean, my one barely lasts a day. How is that one lasting a year? Like,
I was like, I don't remember my phone lasting that long. A year without charging. All right. Maybe he shut it off and turned it on, whatever.
Yeah,
But,
totally.
you can work around it. That maybe he turned it on recently and it still had some juice in it. But anyway, there was that.
it was the best model in 2025.
Yeah.
He bought.
They're
he had
really
a lot-
selling this phone.
Well, he had a lot of sword money, so he was able to avoid. Like, it's like today's equivalent of the iPhone 17 Pro. He bought top of the range.
And then the second technicality that I loved was how the hell did he find her after he came back to the present day?
Yeah.
How did he find her in that studio?
Yeah, because she's
Right.
not like, by the faux English phone box.
Right, she's not
or,
near the-
or in her apartment. She's just in some random
Not in the usual
street.
spots.
No.
So how did he find her? No answers there. But their memories brought them back together. And it ends with like a makeout session in this studio as she's rewatching the footage of this documentary that has yet to be finalized. And she's like, oh my God, he wrote this letter for me.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's so
Oh,
amazing.
It's so good. I think you said you really liked this ending and that they didn't ever return to that initial hook of him in the street on the horse and her
Yeah.
getting out of the car.
Yeah, because I think it was much more meaningful this way, like to tie in his love letter and the whole necktie scene. And he like cracks a joke about the I really missed what you did with the necktie. I missed it to death. Like basically, it's like, oh, wow, that's really hitting the nail on the head there. You really did. Although the previous watcher of lots of procedurals like Bones, I was like, oh, he would have died.
He would have died. His neck would have cracked.
Yeah, it would, because it's a
The weight of his body
Mhm,
on the neck.
that's-
Yeah.
That's what would have happened.
Yep.
But I was like, we'll just let that pass.
Right. Like there's like technicalities in here that I don't think
Yeah.
necessarily derail this thing at all.
Right. No, it doesn't. You can suspend your, disbelief or whatever
Yeah.
for
Right.
those small things,
Small
because they're
things,
not
yeah.
huge things. They're
Right.
like little things. Like even like her, how did he find her? Like they were both in the kind of same area and it was pouring down rain. And maybe as he was answering the phone, he was looking around and he saw her like enter the building or something like that. I don't know.
Right. And then he darted into the bathroom to put on a suit
Yeah.
That's right.
and
that's
then came
right.
back out.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, he looked so good in that
He
suit.
does.
That was a great scene.
Especially when he was just wearing like the pants and the white shirt
I-
look.
Yes. Girl.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. I agree. I know this is late to do this, but I think he's so fine. Like this
Yeah.
guy
Mhm.
Yeah.
does it for me. I think he has a unique face.
Mm-hmm.
I think if this was made today, he would never get cast simply because he doesn't look like today's stars, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I agree.
It was nice to see no veneers on anybody. Well, except for that other guy. I think maybe he has had
Oh, with the
veneer.
second male lead.
Second male lead.
Second
Yeah.
male lead. I thought he did a really good job with his character also.
I
He
agree.
was very convincing, egotistical, like selfish
Ugh,
man-child.
so unlikable.
But then at the end, when they're joking, like during the part where she forgets about Kim Bung-do, and there's like this banter where he's like, oh, do you want to go out with me? I'm so lonely. They like joke with each other. I'm
Yeah.
like, see, this is the right vibe, because honestly, that part where the leak in the ceiling and he's like doesn't want to get broken up with and stuff, I was like feeling, I was feeling lots of feelings about like, oh, this, it's like dangerous and I don't like it. And then when, the male lead swoops in and like intervenes and then he's like, don't you know men?
Yeah.
And I was like, yes.
She was like, I thought you left. I thought you left, she goes. And then he's like, why would I leave? Men are off. You don't know men at all. Like he was going to go off the deep end. He was getting very aggressive with her.
Yeah, totally. Anyway. Very convincingly played, though, I felt.
Very convincing. That jawline could cut glass.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, he was very believable as being the hottest K-drama actor of the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
I believe it. Lots of things that we unpacked in the show, and the ending really stuck the landing. Do you have anything else you'd like to add about Queen In-hyun's man? This was so much fun.
It was.
So much fun. Thank you. All I have to say is this was totally not on my radar until you said, hey, what are the, shows you want to do, you have interest in? And then Sarah said that one. I was like, I have never heard of this, but yeah, I'll go for it. But I loved it.
Yeah.
I really loved it.
Been on my watch list for a while because I really love you in that and I really love time travel. But I was always, I think because it's an old drama and also hard for me to find because I don't enjoy having to do VPN because then I can't watch it on my big TV and I have to go and do something else. But I was like, oh, this is a sign. Like this is my push to watch it, And it was great. 60 episodes zipped by, and I loved it. I really loved it. Yeah,
I'm so glad, and I loved it too. I had a really great time. So easy pressing play on the next episode. There was no pushback from anything about it. I'm so glad that I got to share this with you guys. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Where can people find you guys online?
We are on Instagram at Afternoona Asks, and our website is www.afternoonasks.com.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you, Grace and Sarah. That's been our show. I'm Jessica, and this has been the Daebak K-Rambles Podcast.